He gave up.
He never gives up.
Hello, I'm Matt, she's Nat, and we've got your geek news right here. And today we're reviewing G.I. Joe. In a word, bad. Bad. Bad.
Are we reviewing that horrible movie we saw last night?
Yes, today we are reviewing what may be the worst movie we've ever reviewed on your geek news.
Okay, even worse than Max Payne, because that one was really the worst thing.
You know, I don't even know if Max Payne was a movie. It was a collection of scenes put together. It was so bad, I wouldn't even call it a movie. This one, because of the source material, it insults me and my childhood. This was a steaming pile.
You know what? Forget the source material. It was just a bad movie. I mean, I never watched G.I. Joe. I admit, you know, in the 80s when I was a kid, when that theme song came on, I would just switch the channel because I couldn't stand it. But the movie itself was just insulting. It just
All right.
waste of time.
Let's break this up into the good, the bad, and the WTF.
A team is being assembled. They're the best operatives in the world. When all else fails, we don't.
Okay, let's start with Duke. Channing Tatum? Is he just like the least interesting human alive? Because I did not care at any point about his completely deadpan stare.
Exactly. I mean, he was the protagonist, but you just couldn't care about him. I mean, even when you got any of those, the backstory and the flashback and all that kind of stuff,
which
it
was
was
so
like,
inelegant.
yeah, you got screwed because you were a pussy. I don't know what to say. Like, sorry, dude, you messed up and then couldn't man up and meet your fiance. Like,
just
I don't
uninteresting.
care.
Completely uninteresting. And okay, so let's go to Ripcord for a moment.
Okay.
Now, we were expecting the Wayans brother to be the worst part of this film, and I'm pretty sure he was as horrible as always, but because everything around him was so bad, he didn't seem to be the worst part.
You're
and plus,
horrible. You know, I thought he was funny. He was a funny, amusing guy.
and I've
The
got to
character
say,
was kind of cool.
of all the good guys, they did get somewhere near accurate because he did do a halo jump, a high altitude, low open landing. That worked for me a little bit, but.
Okay, well,
Scarlet.
you know, Scarlet. I love that they have some female characters here that are supposed to be strong. Scarlet was cool. She was hot. I actually didn't really care about her that much more than Duke, though, just because there was nothing really there. Like, fine. I didn't assume there would be character development really in this movie.
And you know, when you go to see a movie in a theater, you really do, especially at a midnight showing, you really do get
the fans, right? Yeah, that's where you geeks go, we go.
You feel the collective opinion of a film. And every time there was a heartfelt moment, specifically the one between Scarlet and Ripcord, where she's like, I don't want you to see me like this.
I didn't want you to see me like this. Oh, this
Everybody
neck wound.
was laughing.
Yes.
That's how terrible that scene was.
My father always told me to win.
Terrible writing, terrible directing, terrible storytelling, and Scarlet was part of the worst scene.
I don't blame it on the actress, though. I think it was just the storytelling itself was just
Absolutely.
Right.
So let's go to the only really solid across-the-board good character. And maybe it's because he didn't ever say anything, so he couldn't be victimized by a terrible script. Snake Eyes.
Oh man, he was badass.
Now, Ray Park totally
delivered. He deserved
delivered.
to be on that G.I. Joe team, I'll tell you that.
He totally delivered, but I've got to say, rubber lips on Snake Eyes are like rubber nipples on Batman. Unnecessary. What was the point? Now, one more important thing I've got to say about Snake Eyes is that he's mysterious. His backstory with Stormshadow, none of that should ever be known. Neither should you kill Stormshadow.
Matt was pretty ticked off by the flashbacks.
Totally.
Every time the flashbacks happened in the movie, he'd be like, oh my god,
like
why are they doing this?
They were so inelegant and clumsy and stupid. When you rely on that kind of stupid storytelling, it's just such a crutch.
I wasn't that offended by the flashbacks personally. I thought it was a good way to give you a bit of exposition on
it's too much.
Who the characters are.
It's too much.
Why they're doing what they're doing.
Who's the coolest character in X-Men?
Wolverine, clearly.
Okay, how many movies did you have to wait to get his storyline out, his backstory?
Like 4?
Exactly. You do not give away your mysterious character's backstory.
Okay, but let's just say that Steven Sommers probably knew he wasn't making any more of these movies, so he had to get it all out when he could, honestly.
This was so big a piece of crap, he probably knew he
There's
wasn't
not
getting
going to be a sequel or a prequel. It does not deserve one.
I hope not. Okay, well, speaking of Stormshadow, let's get into the bad guys. Destro. Wow. Accurate.
That's actually
Finally
probably the only character
accurate.
that was completely accurate
Just
to
about.
the source material.
Yeah, right up until the point that he had the worst CG I have ever seen on a human in my life. Definitely takes the cake for worst CG of the year away from Wolverine and his claws.
I don't know why they decided to do
Holy
it that way, though. I mean, if they were gonna stay accurate to it, you know, he's Scottish, just like in the show.
Yeah,
and
they got all that right.
the background and
Mars,
having the metal
everything right.
mask and the weapons trading on both sides. It's all accurate. So why not just make that part accurate
Especially
too?
if you're going to make it look terrible. Like, honestly, if the CG face is going to look completely god-awful, don't do it. Just don't do it. Anyway, moving on to other faces. Zartan. Wow. I mean, we barely saw
The
him.
Mummy.
Yeah, the Mummy.
I was happy to see him. I never
Summers
see
just
him in
keeps bringing in
anything.
actors. Yeah, but you know what? Honestly, he wasn't bad. We never saw him in direct sunlight, so we never got to see him go blue or not go blue. So it'd be interesting to see if somehow this piece of garbage gets a sequel. Maybe we'll get to see something about that with the president.
Yeah, he
But,
was interesting, though,
yeah,
definitely.
By and large, Zartan, not the worst part of the movie. The Vipers, possibly the best part of the movie. They were neat. The whole thing with the Cobra, the idea that the nanites are in them, that really sort of
Takes
gave
away
you...
fear,
Yeah.
takes away pain.
I did not mind the Vipers at all.
They were pretty cool, actually.
So that kind of wraps up the bad guys. Now, you may notice we've missed a few characters. Well, that's because they fall under the WTF.
This has only just begun.
All right, so the first WTF in this one is definitely Brendan Fraser.
Oh my gosh, that is the biggest WTF, because you're watching the movie and then you're just like, Brendan Fraser, what are you doing here? And he's not really a character.
Apparently, he was rumored as gung-ho, and at one point I heard he was rumored as shipwreck, and he just looked at those characters and didn't like them. And because he's got a relationship with the director from doing the Mummy movies,
Right.
apparently he got whatever he wanted. And so he became Sergeant Stone and had this little
in
cameo.
interviews, he says he likes to think that the character he played is a descendant of his character from the Mummy, but who
Bleh.
the F cares?
Lame. The Baroness is the biggest WTF in this entire film. Mind control? Honestly? Come on. She's an evil Russian baroness, not some expat sister of Cobra Commander who got married to some baron. No, 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 no. None of that was acceptable. I'm sorry. None of it worked for me.
She was hot.
That worked for me.
She was quite hot.
She did wear glasses in 2 scenes, and then she was wearing those wacky sunglasses
I just
for
have
the
a
rest of it.
personal issue with Sienna Miller, though. I mean, I don't have a problem with her acting. She's fine, but this is going to sound really, really bizarre. I'd never recognize her. She's one of those faces that I cannot recognize. So I don't care about her ever whenever she plays anything. So even as the Baroness, I was just like,
And in this movie, it was...
Okay.
I saw the same thing. When she was blonde, it was like a different actress. And then at the end, when she was in the penitentiary with her silly black hair tied up, it was like it was another character. Like every time, it was very strange. I could not care about the Baroness no matter
I had
how
like facial
hard I tried.
recognition issues with her.
Now, the whole issue with her and her brother. Ugh. Cobra Commander. Okay.
So is that at all real? Does that
You know
come from
what?
anything?
The Cobra Commander bit about him being a scientist and a doctor and things like that, they are coming from different areas of the storyline. The Cobra Law storyline a little bit. A few things are taken from original source material, but ultimately, he does not have a sister that's the Baroness. The Baroness does not have a brother that's the Cobra Commander. None of that
And she's not actually a
works.
Le Cobre?
No, Le Cobre, come on. That was just out of nowhere. But I've got to say, Cobra Commander was okay. Right up until the egg carton thing that he
What
put
is
on at
up
the
with
end.
that?
Oh my God, what a horrible mask, horrible plan. I've got to say, the fact that they said, oh, the hooded mask was a little too KKK, it kind of had that connotation that certain people didn't like, that's okay. I can understand that. But you are given the rare opportunity here where the character has 2 appearances. You can go with either one of them. And you decided to screw it all up. I'm just disappointed in the production
And
design.
I have to say with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I mean, I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
A lot of this movie actually had some pretty decent actors, but they all
Eccleston was great.
executed right. Like I don't know what to say. It's just
it was just bad. It's like,
Sorry, guys.
You know,
I mean-
George Lucas can make Natalie Portman seem like a terrible actress.
which is insane.
Yeah, like
how do you do that?
Some directors are just capable of making good actors bad. And in this case, Summers did a fine job of making some great actors terrible, and made some terrible actors even worse.
Needless to say, G.I. Joe was so bad, we're going to be seeing something promising tonight.
Yes, a Korean vampire film from Chan Wook-pak, the director of Old Boy.
Yeah, which was twisted but amazing. And if you guys don't know yet, Korean film is pretty close to my heart. So we actually have some clips from this one to show you, so keep your eye on yourgeeknews.com for a hopefully redeeming review.
And in the meantime, let us know what you thought of G.I. Joe.
When I'm finished, this world will never forget